Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you all to Great Plains Lutheran High School for this concert afternoon. We're glad that you could all be here this afternoon, and we also welcome those who might be tuning in, listening, and watching online. We're happy to have you with us today. As we gather together today during this school year, I'd like to remind you of our school year theme as we get the privilege of working with 117 students this year. We do that under the theme of Be What God Made You. And every day we have the opportunity to explore with our students, to explore with them what it means to be what God has made them, to remind them that God really strengthens all of us for our various tasks and our various roles through His Word, and then to explore with them also what it means to have that Word guiding us and also guarding us as we face the different challenges and the different opportunities that lie before us each and every day. So thank you for your part in that. Thank you for being a part of this ministry as we seek to be what God has made us. As we do that now in this time of the year, we are mindful of the one thing that's really at the heart of why we are the children of God, and that is the sending of our Savior, Jesus. He has come to be our Savior. He has come in the flesh to be the one who has done for us all things necessary for life now and for life with Him for all eternity. And so we rejoice in that blessing today, and we pray that you will be blessed during this Advent season, that you will be blessed as you celebrate Christmas, and you will also be blessed as you hear today that message, as the songs which are played bring that message to mind, and which, as the words which are sung, present that message to you. May you be blessed through that today and in the weeks ahead. I would just like to note that we also have the privilege of working with our ministry training college, Martin Luther College, by having two student teachers with us during this time, and one of them is working with our music director, Mr. Martins, and so Zach Charlemagne is here, and he'll be doing some of the directing here this afternoon. Thank you for being with us, and God bless you this afternoon.
As the freshman choir gets settled with the celebration choir, I would direct your attention to the instructions in the program. We invite you to sing along with us on verse 2 and 3, I believe, is what I wrote, of Silent Night. And there is music on the following page, so you can flip over that. And you can please stand.
On behalf of everyone at Great Plains Lutheran High School, I'd like to thank you and those of you who tuned in online for joining us this afternoon for the concert. Our privilege to share the good news of Jesus' birth and God's plan for the salvation of the world with you. Let's express one more time our appreciation for these students using their gifts to glorify God. I'd like to draw your attention to page 9 of your programs. There's a list of people who are involved in making this afternoon possible. Again, would like to express a special appreciation to two men. Mr. Eric Martins, our main music director at Great Plains Lutheran High School, and then also his assistant for the past 10 weeks, our student teacher, Zach Charlemagne, for leading our students in their singing and in their playing this afternoon. Let's express appreciation to them. Just one announcement. Following the concert this afternoon, by all means, stick around and enjoy some fellowship with each other. But in about 15 minutes or so, we're going to transition to the Fall Sports and Oral Interp Awards Banquet. That's going to take place over here where we've got the tables set up, the cross country, the football, the volleyball, and like I said, the Oral Interp. We're going to recognize some of those accomplishments from this past fall soon after we're done with the concert this afternoon. You might notice this last row of tables over here needs some chairs. So if you're so inclined, if you could help move some of these chairs to those tables, that'll help us get set up for the awards banquet. Again, from all of us at Great Plains Lutheran High School, we wish you a blessed Advent and celebration of Christmas as we look forward to that opportunity to celebrate Christ's coming to be the Savior of the world. As you go this afternoon and evening, please have a safe trip home, and may God richly bless you. Thank you.
If there are some senior students that are in the gym, it sounds like there's going to be a senior picture on the west bleachers. So if you're a senior standing around or if you see a senior near you, send them that way.
Band students that are waiting around can take care of their stand and their folder. Band students. Last call for seniors. If you're a senior in high school,
As the students are getting ready for the transitioning from the concert to our awards banquet, please try to finish that up, students, so that we can get started in about 5 minutes or so. Also, if there's anyone over by the controls, we could use a little more volume on microphone 1. Nathan, can we get a little more on 1, please? Thank you. It looks like the hallways are getting a little bit more empty, which means the students are hopefully making their way back. Let's start in about 2 minutes. So if you could make your way towards one of the seats, either at the white tables or in the bleachers, we'll start in about 2 minutes.
never left. Another sprint. Another.
All right, I think we're ready to begin. So welcome to the 2018 Fall Activities Awards Banquet. I'd like to start off by introducing a few of the types of awards that we're going to be awarding tonight, but before we get into the specifics of that, just a couple of things from the athletics director, I suppose. Some thank yous that I want to get out of the way right away. And these might be echoed by individual coaches, but first and foremost, I want to thank our parents that are here today, parents who are watching online, the parents who are supporting your student athletes that we are recognizing this evening. The amount of time that you guys spend encouraging your students, not only in their activities, but also in their studies as they grow day by day, individually, spiritually, emotionally. That's something that I think the kids sometimes take for granted, but I want to make sure that we, as student athletes, recognize all of the time that you parents spend for your children. So student athletes, let's begin this evening with a thanks to our parents. I'm always blown away by the amount of support that our parents give our kids. In our setting, it's a lot of miles. Some of you drive hours to watch home events, home activities, plus when we go on the road, sometimes we go even farther in the opposite direction of your location. That doesn't stop you from coming and supporting your students, and that's an amazing thing. And I'll never ever take that for granted because that's such an amount of dedication on your part. I'd also like to thank all of our faculty members, many of them you'll be hearing from this evening, the amount of time that they put into not only preparing the lessons, not only coaching, but being flexible with different schedules that we have to do to make all these activities work. Students missing class for certain activities and rolling with the punches. It's not an easy task. We even just most recently had a different schedule this last Thursday to prepare for our busy weekend that we are finishing up today with this evening's event. So thank you to the faculty for all of your work for our student athletes. The next group I need to thank sometimes gets, I think, perhaps just overlooked because they're such willing workers and they're so quiet in what they do, but they're so vital for our operation here, and that's our office ladies. Whether it be Karen, whether it be Liz, or whether it be Janine working behind the scenes to make sure that things are communicated as well as we can, most efficiently as possible, to the programs looking great and being accurate, to things being published on our social media places, whether it be our school website or Facebook. All the work that they do for our activities is astounding. So thanks, ladies. Next, our coaches. Both our head coaches and all of our assistant coaches. The amount of time and dedication that they commit to your children is astounding. On top of their other duties, whether it be here at school or at their other jobs, our coaches are dedicated. Our coaches are committed to not only developing the skills necessary for the activities, but also for encouraging them in the light of God's Word through those activities. The best job that I get as part of the athletic director is to watch kids do things that they love to do. That included this afternoon. Whether it be this on the competition fields, whether it be performing in front of audiences, it's great to see the kids doing things, but we recognize that none of that would be possible without the hard work and dedication of all of our coaches. And so coaches, from me to you, thank you for all of your work. And finally, our student athletes. You're busy. High school is a lot of commitments. Learning how to use time management skills to balance schoolwork, sports, fine arts, other student body commitments that you have, plus everything else in your personal life. It's a lot. But these student athletes have dedicated themselves to their teams, and because of that, they've achieved great success, and we're recognizing that today. So thank you, student athletes, for all of your work in the classroom and outside of the classroom for your teams. All right, so this evening we are going to be giving out certain awards that have some GPL lingo, perhaps, and if you are somewhat new to this, it might not always make sense, so I'll try to give you a brief overview of the types of awards that these student athletes will be receiving so that I can do it once and it doesn't have to be repeated every time. You will hear individuals getting recognized for most valuable player or performer, depending on the activities, and that's rather straightforward. The individual that kind of is vital to the success of the team. You will also hear something that's unique to our school, and that's the Panther Award. And the Panther Award is given to the individual who might be very influential in the activity, but they also display excellent sportsmanship and are a great Christian role model for others. Basically, in point, when the head coach looks at their team, at their group, and says, if there's one person that I want younger people to aspire to be, I want that to be like that kid, because of how they are a great teammate, how they are a leader, how they perform their hardest, both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. And that's what all entails the Panther Award. That's a very prestigious award for us here. You'll also hear other awards like Most Improved. Pretty straightforward with that. Each coach will also identify which student athletes have lettered. The criteria for lettering varies a little bit depending upon the activity. Students that letter will receive a certificate that says that they have lettered, and they will also receive a pin that has the symbol of the activity that they lettered in. If a student is lettering for the first time at Great Plains, they will also be receiving a cloth GP letter. It's a chenille. It goes on your letter jackets. And student athletes, if that is you getting your first letter this evening, you can come and get those tomorrow in school. And then finally, there will be some students that are going to be identified for their participation in the event. They did not meet the lettering criteria, but they still put the time in to practice. Maybe they're at a sub-varsity level, and we want to recognize their hard work and dedication at that level as they continue to work on their skills. And so we are going to recognize them with that as well, and those students will be receiving a certificate for their participation in their activities. All right, I think that's all of the awards that I have to kind of overview. We are going to start this evening with fine arts. We had a great example of the wonderful fine arts that we have here at this school with the concert. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to all of the different activities. But this evening we are going to highlight the oral interp team, and to tell you about their season is their coach, Coach Schrader.
Hello. Oral Interp is an event where students pick a literary piece and they perform it in front of judges for critique and scoring. We have 7 different categories that we participate in. They are poetry, serious reading, storytelling, humor, oratory, duet, and reader's theater. We only had 3 returning interpreters this last year, and so the accomplishments that our team received this year are very impressive when you consider that we had 8 novices or first-time competitors joining our teams this year. This year, our team consisted of the following students, and I'd like you to stand where you're at stand until all of them have been recognized. Hold your applause until the end. Seniors, we had Tyler Goins, who participated in storytelling, duet, and readers theater. Josh what's your name? I know. It's a joke because every single meet we were in, whenever his name was called, it was or weir. But in state competition we had this last weekend, Mr. Martins was the announcer for most of the time, and he got the name right. It's the first time anybody's ever heard his real name. Okay, and Josh participated in serious, duo, and readers theater. Andy I did oratory and duet. Chloe Kuhlman did poetry. Our sophomores were Bailey Wolf. She did oratory, duet, and readers theater. Lydia Kratz did poetry, and Maria Gable did, and humor, I'm sorry, and Maria Gable storytelling. And then in freshmen, we had Gianna Proya did poetry and readers theater. Madeline Ramsey did readers theater. Lucas Yeager did serious. And Jackson Coles did humor and readers theater. Okay, those are our entire team. Now you can give them a hand. Okay, you may sit down. Okay, you may be seated. So our only returning ones were Tyler, Josh, and Bailey. The rest of them it is their first time competing this year. We attended 3 individual meets, and they were in Millbank, Florence, and Brookings. Then we had 3 team meets, which were in Madison, Sioux Falls, and Watertown. We also competed in the Eastern Coteau Conference, or ECC for short, the district, the region, and the state meets. Even though many think of oral interp as being a very individualized sport, it is actually also a team sport, because in those team meets, they calculate the team awards by the number of people that are in that meet from the certain school, and also their scores. So, and it's also, we get those team awards based on also if you get any of your students into a finals round. And we did very, very well in those team meets this year. We had an exceptional showing. The ECC was our conference meet. We got first place in that. The team received, the next team meet we went to was the Orange and Black in Sioux Falls. We got first place B team. That one is a very large meet in Sioux Falls, Lincoln, and we were 5th overall out of 25 schools. So even as a B team, we beat many AA and A teams to get that, even the first place B. So the next one is followed by a first place B school award from the Carl E. Munt meet at DSU in Madison. Now that was a very challenging weekend for our students, because we had the Orange and Black on Friday night. We got back at about 11 o'clock, 11:30, something like that, and we had to be on the road at 6:30 to get to Madison the next day for that. Those are 2 team meets in a row. So they were pretty wiped out, but we still managed to get B team awards in both. First place. Okay, and also then on that following Monday, we had another meet in Brookings, which we also did, that was an individual meet, and everybody did very well there too as well. The interpreters would be performing their pieces through that weekend a minimum of 9 times. They had to do it in front of 3 different judges at each one of those meets, and if they made it into a finals round, they had to do it again. So imagine doing the same thing over and over and over again and being fresh each time you do it in front of a different judge to try to get the best score. It was a challenging weekend, and they pulled it off remarkably well. At Watertown Pumpkin Stakes the next weekend, we finished with another first place team award for B schools. And what was remarkable about that one is that we took less than half our team. We didn't even take our varsities. How many of you guys went to Pumpkin Stakes? Raise your hand. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and we won B schools. We had how many of our varsity? None. One. Bailey was our only varsity. So it was remarkable that we got a B, first place B at that pumpkin stakes, which is tough. Because Jackson made it into the finals round in that one for humor. That was how we got into it. So it was great weekend. The interpreters would be, okay, let's see. We received those special awards in all three cases by having students that advanced into a finals round and also by having students that didn't advance get high individual scores. So the whole team contributed very much to the success of our team this season. The State Oral Interp Festival was to be held last weekend, a week ago here in Watertown, but due to the predicted weather, the winter storms and that was supposed to be covering half the state, the festival was postponed and then subsequently moved to Pier this past weekend. So on Thursday, we left to go take our team to Pier. We took students in all 7 categories again for state competition. That's the second year in a row we've done that. And they tell us that's something historic. But we've also done it 3 times in 5 years, so how hard can it be? It's really tough. Well, we also were district champions. Yes, we got the highest scores in district because we took all 7 of our teams, all 7 of the categories to state. So, well, that's why, yeah. Okay, so the entries that went to state, you guys can stand again. These people will all be getting letters. Lydia in poetry, stand up. Andy in oratory. Jackson in humor, he received a superior at state. Josh received a superior in serious reading. Tyler in storytelling received a superior. Reader's theater, that's Josh, Tyler, and Bailey. Stand up, Bailey. Also received a superior. Josh and Tyler were our duet partners at state, and they received a superior with distinction, which means they were given a perfect score from the 3 judges. Josh and Tyler received superiors in all 3 of the categories in which they were competing, so that was quite special. You may sit down. Okay. Okay, you can sit down. Okay, now we have to award an MVP and a Panther Award, which makes it really tough because we had Josh and Tyler who each of them did their individual pieces. They did a reader's theater together with Bailey, and they did a duet together, and we got superiors in all of those things at state. So the problem we ran into is because both of them did consistently superior plus scores throughout the season. They both advanced to regions. They both advanced to state with superior ratings, and we thought state will solve this for us. You know, one of them will get a superior plus or something. You know, we'll figure out who's going to surpass whom. But if you've been listening, you know that at the state festival, it didn't solve our problem because Josh and Tyler do a duet together, and that's the one they got the superior with distinction in. So, to solve the problem, we decided MVP, both you guys. Come up here.
So it's like a reader's theater copy, you have to share it?
That's right, you have to share. It's a traveling trophy. You get it 1 year. Congratulations.
There actually will be another one.
There is another one, so just kind of hang around, but not both of you. No, okay. Okay, so once again, now we have to award the Panther Award to an individual that displayed Christian character and leadership on the team. Well, again, we had a difficult time of that because they're both the backbone of our team. They helped guide the many new members through the structure and also the chaotic nature of the various tournaments we go to, and also to understand the vagaries and subjectiveness of judges' scores and the necessity that you have to have a selective view of the things that judges write on your comment sheets. Both attended every meet possible with the exception of one meet that was with an unavoidable conflict, but we have to choose one. So we've chosen the one that's shown support for the other competitors by watching teammates perform when not in a round, offering encouragement when the teammate suffers inevitable disappointment. This student was willing to listen to teammates practice and lent suggestions for enhancing character development. The Panther Award for Oral Interp for 2018 is Tyler Goins. Okay, a huge thank you also to my awesome co-coach, Eric Martins. His help is simply indispensable. As the logistics master to make our attendances at meet seem effortless, as a judge in many of the events that we participated in, and as a critic for the students as they chose and practiced their performances for future, for oral interp at GPL. We're going to have a great future. And he just, as a great co-coach that he is, helped me to remember that we also got the Team Excellence Award at state. We have so many awards. I can't keep track of them all.
I thought you'd forget.
It's right here and I miss it. I'm really tired. Okay. We'd also like to thank Mr. Charlemagne. He helped us. He got introduced to this whole thing of oral interp. He also helped us with judging at times. Where is he? Is he here? Oh, there he is. Hi, Zach. Okay. He was able to come along with us to state and got to experience that for the first time. And I would be remiss if I did not thank you parents for giving us your students and encouraging them to be in this. It takes a lot of time and effort to be in it, takes a lot of practice, and they all represent our school so well. It is a joy to talk to other coaches and to see them in action with other competitors in their rounds. It's really a joy to see. We also thank God for blessing these students with the skills and the talents that they need to exceed in this, in oral interp. Thank you. And we made the cover, too! I forgot that! We also made the cover of the program, state program from last year. They put one of our photos on it, so that was cool. Thank you.
Should we take them later? There's space. Then they come. We can leave this.
All right, we have one more group that we are going to recognize before we break for supper, and that is going to be the volleyball team. So, Coach Rodewald, you're up.
All right. Good evening. My name is Luke Rodewald, and I am the coach of the varsity volleyball team here. Our theme this year was Rise Up, and that was something I said very often in the locker room, in the huddle, at practice, and games. I chose it because it's a phrase of action, a challenge for this table of ladies to step up and meet the expectations that have been set for themselves by themselves. As our off-season wound down this summer, I began to get a feel for what the girls envisioned for themselves this year. And their goals, to be honest, scared me a little. They were big goals, lots of wins, accomplishments, milestones that made me as their coach both excited and nervous. The longer I do this, the more I come to realize that I'm kind of a pessimistic coach. I need to see proof of concept before I believe that something is good or real. I wasn't totally convinced at first. I wanted to temper expectations. I thought we'd lost too many significant seniors or other players to graduation or other activities. I felt there was going to be too much pressure on younger players, inexperienced players. But these girls got me believing early, and that continued throughout this season. It's a privilege that I get to stand here tonight and talk about what was simply another really good year. It was just a really good season. Last year, our girls went above 500 for the second time in school history. These girls went out and surpassed that feat. Our varsity girls finished with the season with a record of 18-13, which is the second most wins in school history. They took second place in conference with a 4-1 record. They won a playoff game again. 3 girls were Taco John Athletes of the Week. We had 3 girls on the all-conference team. We had numerous school records broken, and I lost track of how many times I heard the compliment, the best compliment in my opinion, which is, your girls are so fun to watch. So yeah, a really good season. My goal as this sports coach, though, is that I can eventually stop saying that. That instead of saying a really good season, we can simply say it was another season, as if it's the norm for GPL volleyball to have a winning competitive team. And I think we're trending in the right direction. And that success comes not due to the brains of a masterful coach, an easy schedule, or luck. It's the result of hard work and dedication. As a coach, all I can do is ask that my athletes commit fully to a sport and to each other. And I'm super lucky that these girls have jumped on board my weird little ship. Already in January, I had girls showing up at 6 a.m. several times a week to hit, serve, and dig. We had 4 members from our program playing on a local club volleyball team. We went to 2 summer tournaments. We hosted a camp that had 25 girls attend. We played in summer league, and for so many of these girls, there really wasn't ever a time that they weren't training or preparing for this sport. Off season? Not really. These girls set a high bar for themselves many, many months ago and did everything possible to get after it. And so I'm proud to say that without a doubt, you ladies rose up. Sure. As we finish the chapter on this season tonight, I can't help but look with excitement toward the future of this program. I'd like the JV girls to stand as I read your name. Natalie Ashton, Emily Ashton, Sammy Bendix, Starla Hedman, Bryn Holman, Megan O'Farrell, Brooke Lamley, Allie Charlemagne, Aaliyah Trueblood, Mally York, Olivia Giovanatone, and Caitlin Bendix. These ladies posted a 12-5 record for the second year in a row, which is remarkable for a number of reasons, perhaps most significantly because at times there were 6 freshmen on the court for us. With that much youth and that many girls playing positions for the first time in their lives, there's a pretty sharp learning curve that we weren't sure was going to be anything but a bumpy ride. And for that, I have to give credit to not only to them, but a big thanks to their coach, Coach Gina Radu, who not only guided them to a successful season, but does so many behind-the-scenes things for the varsity team. It's no exaggeration to say that both teams' success would not be possible without you. Congratulations, Coach Radu, and to our JV ladies. On that note, I want to extend a few other thank yous. As I say every single year now, I would not be able to do any of this without the guiding hand of Coach Cheryl Zek, who is both team mom and my personal shrink throughout the year. She gave up her time during a very busy fall for her to be part of our team. So whether it's hitting balls at girls in a blocking drill, being a sounding board for me to make lineup changes, or simply being the outstanding example she is to these girls, her presence is unmatched. Thank you, Coach Zek, for all you do for our girls. And finally, thanks to my managers, David Fensky and Janome Mutombo, and to my bookkeeper, Sophie Abramson. I have no idea if they are here. Janelle, stand up. Thank you guys for all the things you do as well. Give them a hand. But my last thank you is to all of you students and parents who watched us. I want to thank all of our fans who stood with us to the end, those who drove 90 miles to watch us play Waverly South Shore in the regional semifinal until 10 o'clock at night, and who made this gym one of the best environments to play this sport in. I take almost as much pride in you guys as I do this team. The number of compliments I got from opposing fans and parents about our crowd were significant, and our student section, even when you wear my clothes and dress like me for the theme, you are undoubtedly one of the best in the state, so thank you. And so for awards tonight, I'd like to start by recognizing the players who will be receiving varsity letters and also those who made all conference. So first, your honorees, your letter honorees for this year's varsity volleyball team are Katie Johnson, Krista Kirkmeyer, stand, Kristen Cluck, Brianna Peterson, Kendra Schlecht, Miranda Bisek, Cameron Bulow, Lexi Charlemagne, and Sarah Werner. Also lettering this year are managers David Fensky and Janelle Mutombo. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we also had 3 girls that made the all-conference team. This is an honor that is voted on by the other conference coaches. 12 ladies are selected to these teams. On the second team, all-conference team, we had Sarah Werner. And on the all-conference first team, we had Kendra Schlecht and Kristen Cluck. Congratulations, ladies. Our first award tonight is for Most Improved, and this year there are 2 recipients, and their stories could not be more different. One's improvement was the result of a dedicated off-season, the other's of tireless work in season. The first recipient had an enormous amount of pressure on herself, placed not only by herself, but from me, from her team, and her expectations. This summer, deep down, I knew that this ship would ultimately go as far as this girl's progress would take us, and I was a little nervous. Despite a busy and full summer, however, this girl came to every open gym she could. Sometimes, and I get goosebumps talking about this, that meant she would text Coach Radu and myself to meet her at the gym at midnight and work with her one-on-one. She became a leader on this court in practice and wound up breaking a couple of school records in the process. Our second recipient's story is a little bit different. She was told earlier this summer that it was unlikely she would get to play the position she wanted, and as a result, she had to adapt and learn a new spot. Some nights she would play a lot, and some nights she wouldn't play at all, and that's a very unenviable position. But there was no question that her commitment in practice never wavered, her attention to detail was always locked in, and that when called on, she would be ready. And by the end of the year, she was what I would hope any reserve player in any sport would aspire to be, which is someone who the coach has a tough time not playing. Congratulations to our 2 most improved players, Brianna Peterson and Krista Kirkmeyer. Our next award is for the most valuable defensive player. This lady set a high standard for herself for back row play. Again, this was the result of significant off-season work, and this girl challenged herself and her team to go for everything and make plays when it seemed like the ball was going to drop. She became the first in team history to go over 1,000 career digs, broke her own school record of digs in a season, as well as digs in a single game with 45. Congratulations on an outstanding defensive season and career, Kristen Cluck. Our most valuable offensive player is the girl who put the ball away for us most consistently. This year, she became the focal point of our offense. And on a personal note, it was exciting to watch somebody so desperately want to get better during each timeout and every huddle. She has such raw athleticism, and watching her slam balls across the net was pretty fun to watch, I'm not going to lie. She finished this season with 227 kills, which is second in school history. She was a Taco John Athlete of the Week and finished 4th in all conference voting. Congratulations to our most valuable offensive player, Kendra Schlecht. Next is going to be the Panther Award. As Coach Haugley said, this award is unique to GPL and recognizes outstanding effort, leadership, and attitude throughout the season. So many of our girls demonstrate that this year, which makes singling one of them out quite difficult. This recipient, I'm not really sure how much she liked volleyball or even still likes volleyball. She usually is the first to complain about a digging drill or anything involving running. But as the year, she knows who she is. But as the year went on, it was very clear how much she loves her team and refuses to give up. In tough games, there was nobody more vocal, more encouraging, and more convinced that the team could find itself and turn it around. Not only did she improve beyond what I expected she could do this year statistically, she was second on our team in kills, but she stepped up well beyond the expectations of what I thought she would give us in her role as captain. Congratulations to our Panther Award winner this year, Lexi Charlemagne. And last, MVP. Our MVP this year was simply special. I could go on and on about how good she is, how fun it is to watch her play, but if you came to a game this year, you would already know all of that. So I'll just say a couple of things about her that you might not know. Nobody logged more off-season hours than her. Nobody thought about volleyball more than her this past year. When I would talk to her about the upcoming season, the excitement she had for it was contagious. And although I was maybe a little nervous about her high expectations for us, I believed that if anybody could lead that team to do it, it would be her. For I'd say the past 2 seasons, my coaching staff and I have watched a girl fall in love with the sport, and there is nothing more rewarding than that. She was a South Dakota top 25 player to watch on the cover of the Ace Promotions Preview magazine. She was a Taco John's Athlete of the Week. She was runner-up for all conference voting this year. I'm going to miss her talent and her humor and her dedication, but most of all, I'm going to miss her love for this sport. Tonight, I'd like you guys to join me in saying one final congratulations to our MVP, Kristen Cluck. That's it.
Thanks for almost getting us on schedule, Coach Rodewald. All right, it is time to break for supper. A couple of serving instructions. I will dismiss the tables. You'll exit out these doors right underneath the exit sign here and proceed to the 2 tables. I've been told there are serving lines on both sides of both tables, so there's 4 serving lines, which should get us through quickly. Feel free to come back and have some conversation with people around you. Once everyone's through, you can certainly go get more. We will begin the second half of our program with a special video. So that'll be portrayed up here in the corner. So that'll kind of be your cue as to when we're getting on to the second half. But since we are about to eat, let's join in the common table prayer. Come, Lord Jesus, be our guest, and let these gifts to us be blessed. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. Amen. All right, we're going to start with the brown table to the north. You can head on out and get some food. I've been asked to announce that there's a lot of food remaining, so if you're still hungry, please make your way through the line again. Is Mr. Bauer in the gym? Are we ready? All right. Many of you are still eating, and please continue to do so. But before we introduce our next activity, Principal Bauer took some time this fall to put together a presentation video that we are going to show to you now, highlighting the activities that we are celebrating this evening. So thanks, Mr. Bauer, for doing this. Once again, thank you, Mr. Bauer, for putting that together. Thanks to all of you who took pictures and submitted pictures throughout the season, sent them to our school so that we can have access to things like that. You can certainly still go get more food, but we are also going to begin our second half of the banquet with our next group, and we are going to recognize the cross-country team next, which means Coach Foxen.
Well, I'm Matthew Foxen. I had the privilege of being able to coach our boys and girls cross-country team this year, and a privilege it was. A couple thank yous that I'd like to give right away. Thank you, Pastor Ken Nelson, for assisting when he was available. Any of the meets that Pastor Nelson was at, you could just see the kids get, their faces light up and just get bright. Oh, Pastor Nelson's here today. Thank you, Pastor Mertz, for teaching me how to coach cross-country last year, and for, even though you were a great teacher last year, allowing me to bother you numerous times this year as I had questions about things that I didn't know how to do. Thank you to the team. All of you put in a lot of hard work, and always with a smile on your face. Cross-country practice is some of the best times of the year so far for me, and it was a delight working with each and every one of you. Thank you for the parents, the moms and dads that came to the meets, the grandmas and grandpas that came to the meets, the alumni students or brothers and sisters that would come to the meets, always encouraging these runners. And for all other fans, all other students who came to watch these runners run, I say a big thank you. Another special thank you I would like to make, and she doesn't know I'm going to say this right now, but Chloe Kuhlman needs some extra recognition. Chloe took it upon herself to start a running club last summer. And her encouragement to the young runners was outstanding and really helped build the program over the summer before the season actually started. So could we get a round of applause for Chloe for doing that? All right, we're going to start by acknowledging the girls cross-country team. So as I read your name, please stand up. We had two seniors on the team, Hannah Kratz and Chloe Kuhlman. One sophomore, Elizabeth Konzenbach, and three junior high girls. 8th grader Daria Poor joined us, again, or returned with us. Newcomers Hallie Bauer and Olivia Holman, 7th graders who joined our team this year. Those of you that aren't varsity can sit down. Thank you. Our varsity runners this year, or lettering in varsity, are Hannah Kratz, Chloe Kuhlman, Lizzie Katzenbach, and Hallie Bauer. Daria Poor did run varsity for the last couple races, but not enough to letter this year. Next time, Daria Poor. The year in review, you guys can sit down now, thank you. It was great to have some young up-and-coming runners join our veterans. We didn't lose any girls from the varsity team anyway from last year. So all three of our varsity runners last year joined us again this year. We finished second at the conference meet. The girls ran and finished 5th in Region 1, which was quite a run. They were running through varying levels of snow on a very cold, windy morning up in Webster. 3 of those runners at regions were able to qualify individually for state. We did not qualify as a team, but 3 runners qualified individually. That's Hallie Bauer, Hannah Kratz, and Chloe Kuhlman. Since we did send 3 runners, we could place as a team at state. We were able to place 18th at state. That's out of a total number of 82 schools in the state. Some awards that the team has asked me to include are Most Improved Runner. Most Improved Runner this year goes to a runner who joined us brand new, a young runner who started at the JV level and was moved up to the varsity level pretty early on. And she continued to run faster and faster at each meet, eventually surpassing at some races our fastest runner. Our Most Improved Runner for the girls this year is Hallie Bauer. Another award I'd like to recognize is the Best Finisher. the team talked about it, and they would like an award going to the person who finished the best. It's a long race to run 5K, but sometimes that extra kick at the end is all you need to really burst through and gain some places. After voting, the team decided to award our Best Finisher Award for the girls to Hallie Bauer. The next two awards, the Girls' Most Valuable Runner Award and Panther Award, were voted on by the team, and they were both voted for the same person. Here are some things that the team says about this person. She is a great runner and a strong leader. She's always cheering the team on. She's always worked hard in practice. She's led by example. She keeps spirits up. She's fun to run with. She's always positive and making others smile. She always brought a good attitude to practices and to meets. She was a medalist or top 20 finisher in every meet but one, excluding states, of course. That one was her first run of the year, in which she placed 21st, so only one away from top 20. She finished 4th at the conference meet, 14th at region, and 62nd at state out of 112 runners. This year's Most Valuable Runner and Panther Award winner goes to Hannah Kratz. One of my favorite things about giving away a Panther Award is I get to embarrass you a little bit, so you have to stay here. A story about Hannah and why she's deserving of this award. At the conference meet, Hannah turns into the final stretch at Webster. She's running steadily at 3rd place when she's overtaken from behind by another runner. This isn't just any runner, though. It's her own teammate, 7th grader Hallie Bauer. Now, you would expect to see disappointment in a moment like that. You'd expect jealousy, maybe even a little anger. But if you were standing along that stretch on October 1st, you didn't see any of those things. Instead, what you saw when Hannah first noticed Hallie passing her was the world's biggest smile on Hannah's face and a shout of encouragement to her junior teammate. That is amazing sportsmanship. It's impressive leadership. Thank you for your time in cross country, Hannah. Now we'll move on to the boys' team. Please stand as I call your name. On the boys' team, we had one senior, Jerry Chen. 2 juniors, Asher Lindemann and Chris Schlecht. 2 sophomores, Austin Adams and Colin Yeager. And 3 freshmen, Robbie Goins, Ethan Genstead, and Ryan Kuhlman. Of these runners, 4 lettered this year: Colin Yeager, Ryan Kuhlman, Asher Lindemann, Christopher Schlecht. An interesting thing about this group is that none of them lettered last year in cross country. It's a very, very fresh team this year. You guys can sit down, thank you. With 6 seniors having graduated last year, we started the season with almost no runners having competed at the varsity level. In fact, not a single runner on the boys' team lettered last year. The boys ran very well at Sisseton, however. With 2 runners out for illness, we were unable to compete as a team. We did finish 2nd in conference. We finished 8th in Region 1B, with 1 man qualifying individually for states. At 19 minutes and 13 seconds, Asher Lindemann finished with his best time of the season in 80th place at states. Thank you. Our most improved runner for the boys goes to one young man whose time got smaller and smaller as the season went. So he truly was a most improved runner. You can track his time getting shorter and shorter with each and every race. Our most improved runner this year is Christopher Schlecht. Our best finisher goes to someone who probably should not have been on the JV team. However, according to certain rules, international students cannot compete at varsity. So our best finisher, always finishing in first or second place for all of his JV races, goes to Jerry Chen. The team voted again for the Panther Award and MVRs for cross country for the boys. And again, both awards go to the same individual. These are some things said about this young man. He's a great runner who inspired teamwork through his leadership. He was consistently our top finisher. He was a hard worker in practices and at meets. He was a good captain, often giving advice and encouragement to his teammates. He challenged others to dig deep and give more. He finished second at conference, 15th at region, and 80th at state. He is this year's most valuable runner and Panther Award winner, Asher Lindemann. A story about Asher. It's difficult for any incoming freshman dorm student to say goodbye to their family. It can only be so much more difficult if you are the only freshman in cross country here for a preseason practice week. Ethan Genstead was in that situation last August. One of my favorite things as a coach to see in that week before school started, though, was as I was driving for home after practices, after every single practice, I saw Asher Lindemann taking Ethan under his wing, taking him out to the basketball course or going for a little extra run, every time consistently. Thank you, Asher, for your service to this team. Couple other notable things. Academic All-State Awards go to seniors who are 3-year participants in cross country and maintain a 3.5 GPA or higher. This year, both of our seniors received that award, Hannah Kratz and Chloe Kuhlman. I want to thank all of you on the team for all the extra work that you put in. We were a team that did not have a manager, but you guys are able to manage yourselves, grabbing stuff and helping out, filling water bottles, and encouraging each other as a team. I thank you for that leadership. I encourage you to keep running in the off season, keep running next summer, encourage other people to join, and if there are younger ones out there who like to run, if you're 7th grade or higher, we'll take you. All right, cross-country members, there are awards for you in my classroom, so please stop by there before you leave today. Thank you.
Before we introduce the final coach and the final activity, all student athletes that received either a trophy or a plaque this evening, and when we are done, please meet right behind me here. We're going to take a group picture. So everybody that got one of those special awards this evening. All right, our final activity is football. Coach Schleusner.
Good evening. Just want to clear up any speculation here. First of all, just want to let everyone know that I am fully committed to Great Plains Lutheran football, and I will not be the Green Bay Packers head coach next season. Okay. All right. Seriously now, it was an honor to have another year where I got to coach these young men in the great sport of football. I want to thank the parents for giving me the opportunity to coach your sons. Football is such a rewarding sport to coach and play, providing kids with lessons about toughness, hard work, relationships, and how to handle adversity. I love working with these guys and helping them improve their God-given abilities and see them accomplish things they may have never thought possible. It was also a privilege to work with a great group of coaches. This season, Jacob Burry coached the JV as well as the defensive line. Rod Nelner, who I always like to mention, has been with the program since it began. I just think that's a cool thing. And also has opened up his house for us for meals before games, before home games. He's also our special teams coach and helped out with some of the other positions as well. Jason Bartels was able to come at the beginning of the year and coach our kickers and punters. Tony Hansen helped us out again this year. He was eyes from the sky, helping out in the crow's nest during games. Darren Mack served as our defensive coordinator and also coached the backs on offense. These guys had a lot on their plate this year, trying to balance their normal daily life and coaching duties, but I appreciate all of their work they put in this season. Coaches, if you are here, I saw a few of you, please stand up. And again, thank you for all your work this season. I'd also like to say a big thank you to Reagan Dieterling, Paxton Schultz, and Lydia Kratz. These girls were managers this season and did a great job of making life easier for us coaches. And also thank you to Micah Holeen for being our water boy throughout the season. If you guys could stand up and we could thank you. All right, our season in review. 3 words came to mind: experience, adversity, and confidence. Those 3 words to me were the basic themes of this season. Going in, I knew that many of these guys would be getting first-time experience. For some, it was their first time ever playing football. For more, it was their first time playing significant minutes in a varsity football game. With only 2 seniors, I knew experience was going to play a huge role. It proved to be, as we went winless against a schedule that included teams with a lot of experience and talent to go with it. But the experience our guys were able to get throughout the season will only help them in the coming years. The second word was adversity. Coming in the form of injuries this season, junior Caleb Roberts and senior Riley Reisman were out for the season very early in the year, with many others suffering setbacks during the season. This presented a challenge for the entire team, giving the opportunity to learn an important life lesson. How you respond to adversity says a lot about your character and who you are as a team, a player, and a teammate. I was really happy and proud with how these guys stepped up and were willing to play whatever the team needed them or wherever the team needed them the most. Lastly is confidence. The potential was always there, but the lack of confidence in themselves always had a way of showing its ugly head through penalties, turnovers, and hesitation that led to missed assignments. However, those who watched throughout the season were able to see glimpses where experience was starting to give way to confidence. The opening drive at Hamlin, where we started the game off with an 8-play drive that led to a touchdown. The start versus Tri-State, where for at least a half it seemed we were playing great team football. And of course, the 80-yard touchdown pass versus Britton Hekla. That surprised everyone, including myself. You could tell that confidence grew. As the confidence grew, so did the team. These 3 things will only make us stronger as individuals and especially as a team. Guys, continue to push each other as we work to improve and prepare for the next season. All right, at this point, we're going to introduce the team. I'll introduce the team starting with the youngest. When your name is called, please stand up and stay standing until the entire team is up. We'll start with our junior high players. I was excited to have 6 of them join us this season. I know a lot of times I'm sure they felt overmatched by the high schoolers, but I know that this experience will only help them in the future. So when I read your name, just stay standing. 7th graders Andrew Johnson, Jasper Cody, Miles York, and Jacob Bartels. We got one there. 8th graders Cole Bendix and Parker Watkins. Freshmen Vince Knutson, John Abramson, Gavin Dornbush, Elijah Graham, Sam Hansen, Jackson Coles, Trent Leon, Joe Erickson, and Dion Warren. Sophomores Martin Rosh, Braden Schultz, Pierce Holeen, and Nathan Bean. Juniors John Bush, Jasper Leon, Brian Knutson, Caleb Roberts, Jan Andringa, Sean Pluger, Cameron Schmidt, Austin Biller, Dawson Wartink, and Joe Tischer. Our seniors, Charlie Beck and Riley Reisman. And of course, our managers, Regan Dieterling, Paxton Schultz, Lydia Kretz, and Micah Holeen. All right, thanks, guys. You can sit down. Bunch of you will stand right back up again, though. These are our team letter winners. Our letter winners this season are those that contributed a significant amount of playing time on the offensive and defensive side of the ball at the varsity level. Letter winners this year, this time I'll start with seniors. Seniors Riley Reisman and Charlie Beck. Juniors John Bush, Jasper Leon, Caleb Roberts, Jan Andringa, Sean Pluger, Austin Biller, Dawson Wartink, Joe Tischer. Sophomores Martin Rosh, Braden Schultz, Pierce Holeen, Nathan Bean, freshman Sam Hansen, and Trent Leon. And our managers that lettered, Regan Dieterling, Paxton Schultz, and Lydia Kratz. Those are our letter winners this year. For conference honors, Charlie Beck received all conference honors, and Austin Biller received all conference honorable mention. Congratulations, guys. And our other awards this season are the offensive and defensive MVP, the most outstanding lineman, most improved player, and our highest awards are the Panther Award and most valuable player. We'll start with most improved player, and I'm just going to say their name right away and then talk about them, and then I'll congratulate them, and you can come up here after that. Most improved player this season goes to sophomore Nathan Bean. We can clap for him. I'm not sure if Nathan was sold on playing football this season, but it was really fun to see his love for the game develop throughout the year. And as his enjoyment for the game increased, so did his confidence in his abilities. Anyone who has ever watched Nathan play any sport can speak of his vast potential. It'll be a lot of fun to watch what he does in the next 2 years. Congratulations, Nathan, on most improved. Most outstanding lineman this season goes to Joe Tischer and Austin Biller. This is Joe's second year winning this award. Joe moved over to the tight end position on offense and was a big part of the defensive line. Joe continues to grow as a great lineman and team leader. Austin gave us stability at the center position. He's developing as a great centerpiece for the offensive line, pun intended. Congratulations, Joe and Austin, on most outstanding linemen. All right, most outstanding offensive player this season goes to Charlie Beck. I'll be talking about Charlie a little bit later, so congratulations, Charlie, on most outstanding offensive player. All right, next is most outstanding defensive player. This goes to Jan Andringa. Jan was third on the team with 35 tackles. He also had 2 fumble recoveries and 2 blocked extra points. I think those came in the same game even. But I think his biggest contribution this season was as a vocal leader for the defense. I know that Coach Mack especially appreciated his take charge attitude that he brought to every game. I'm excited to have him for another year and see how his experience carries over into next season. Congratulations, Jan, on most outstanding defensive player. Most Valuable Player award goes to Charlie Beck. In my first year here, Charlie was a sophomore. He didn't play football that year. Still angry about that. During basketball season that year, I watched as he dove into the bleachers saving balls, using his body on the court that can only make a football coach proud, or in this case, jealous, because I wanted him on my football team. I pulled Charlie aside many times, usually during PE, to tell him he needs to play football. Thankfully, last year he did, and he immediately found a place on the team. This season, when the only other senior, Riley Reisman, was injured, Charlie's role on the team became even greater. The team had to lean on Charlie even more, and he did a great job of taking on that role. With the team leading 645 all-purpose yards this season, Charlie brought a never-quit attitude. The game versus Tri-State was a great example of this attitude and grit, when he played most of the game with a deep thigh bruise until he literally had to be carried off of the field at the end. Charlie, I'm glad you decided to play football. Thank you for the effort you put in this season, and congratulations on Most Valuable Player. And finally, the Panther Award. The Panther Award is someone who uses his talents to the fullest and exemplified his Savior's love in his play, words, and actions. Someone who demonstrated Christian leadership skills throughout the season on and off the field. This year, the Panther Award goes to Riley Reisman. As we voted as a team, this was really close to just being a unanimous vote by the players, even though he'd only played in just a few games this season because of his injury. Riley is the type of guy that every coach hopes to have on his team. He worked his tail off in the offseason, breaking personal bests in many lifts, his 40-time vertical jump, and I'm sure many other things. He came physically and mentally prepared for the football season, only to learn the hard lesson that sometimes things just don't go as planned. After an early end to his season because of an injury, Riley continued to be a big part of the team by being the best teammate that he could be. In hard times, you get to truly see what people are made of, and Riley definitely led by example. Congratulations, Riley, on being this year's Panther Award winner. That's your Panther football team. One more.
Yeah, football boys that got an award, you'll take a picture with Mrs. Pluger. And then just a reminder that once we're done here, everyone that got a plaque or a trophy to please meet behind me here for a group picture. This concludes the presentation of the awards for our Fall Activities Banquet. I'd like to thank you for coming here this evening. Thank you for the student athletes. This has been one heck of a weekend. Starting back with Thursday morning 6 a.m. practice, we've had people practicing for this weekend. We've had people going every direction, OI to state and peer. basketball teams to New Ulm, Minnesota. Some of you went to Redwood Falls for the basketball over there, and then all this afternoon. So it's been quite a long stretch here. Students, let's enjoy the evening and recoup for our last week of classes before semester test week. Just another reiteration from me from the beginning. Thanks to all of you for not only being here today and not only for supporting your students, but number one, for just sending your students to our school. Whether you are 2 blocks away, 2 hours away, or 2 states away or farther, thank you for entrusting your students to our care here. That's not something that we take lightly, and we view it every day as a privilege to get to know your students better, but also to see them growing closer to their Savior every single day. And so they're reminded every single day how they can be what God has made them in different facets of their life. So God be with you as you go this evening, and have a blessed Christmas. I was also asked to announce if any of you are so inclined to pick up a chair or two or a table, we'll be picking up a few things here if you have a minute or two to spare to put some stuff away.